Hi Pisces, this is your March 2019 reading. Welcome to the new era, a completely new chapter of your life. This is the start of your solar year, and this is not an ordinary solar year that's starting from you. This is a complete new start because we have never had Saturn, Pluto and South Node coming together in your house of hopes and dreams ever in our lifetime. So this year, you know it in your core, it is going to be very, very different. And these three heavyweights, they're sitting in your house of vision, your legacy in the world, which you're working very hard in creating, and they're making a positive aspect with you. They're giving you the inner strength, the power to go ahead and make a name for yourself in the society that you're part of. Jupiter in your house of career is bringing you opportunities, and it may not seem like that at the start of the month because we have Mercury retrograde at the start of the month, and when Mercury is retrograde in our sign, which only happens once in 6-7 years, you're sitting with something that you have not seen. There's something that is shown to you, a side of you, a side of your career, a side of your path, the kind of issues that you're going to face when you grow in terms of your career, the kind of issues that will come across on a regular basis once you create a name for you. Those things will show up in front of you. Those issues, the underbelly of what you're getting into will be displayed in front of you for you to be prepared for what's coming in future. And that is what Mercury retrograde during the course of March of 2019 is trying to tell you. It is not trying to make your month, your season difficult for you, but it is trying to show you a different way of handling relationships, partnerships, people who work under you, people who will grow with you as you grow. And it is a beautiful thing that this is happening in your season, because in your season, the key to success is to be mutable. The key to success is to be flexible. The key to success is to take the larger population along versus doing one-upmanship. So you stay in your element. As long as you stay in your element, as long as you stay with your truth, as long as you look at the bigger picture in terms of the direction you're going into, you are most equipped to handle what's coming across during the course of March of 2019. And there are big changes that are coming because your season is getting kick-started. The whole process that we have been talking about in the last couple of videos, that we are getting started with a completely new cycle, that is getting kick-started with your new moon during the course of March of 2019. And you will feel that the new moon comes with a new energy, but that energy is delayed because retrogrades delay the new energy because they want you to first complete the issues with the old. They want you to deal with something in the past, of the old thing, of the old transition, of the old projects, of the old job, of the old career that needs to be tidied up and given up and sort of be dealt with before after 14th of March you can move with the new. And you'll feel this in the middle of the month, around 11th, 12th, even from that time in the middle of the month, you'll feel this new energy, this fresh infusion, this new mind come through to start with the next chapter of your life. And this next chapter will come with giving up something. It will come with an ending. It will come with a permanent ending of something that has outlived its purpose in your life. There's something in your life that you are not giving up and you're holding on to, and that is not your nature. That is not natural to you. You are a mutable water sign. You are a sign that knows how to move forward with time. So when you look at when Mercury retrograde shows you certain patterns, certain people, certain set of goals that have outlived their purpose in your life, Pluto and South Node during the course of end of March all the way till middle of April will work on removing something that has outlived its purpose, whether it is a person, it's a goal, it's a society that you're part of, or a career goal that you've been holding on to which has outlived its purpose in your life, because this new start will only come with giving up something which is old. And that is the whole process that we'll follow during the course of March all the way till middle of April. The fresh new start, this feeling that something is coming through, in my view, will come more towards the second half of the month. So I will request you to have your regular patience that you normally have. Stick with the things. Keep your eye on the prize. Keep your eye on the prize, because your friend is Mars this month. Your friend is your action this month. Your friend is consistently working towards the goal that you have set for yourself. Just don't forget where you're going, and keep consistently working towards that, knowing that after 14th of March, things will start turning around. Even if there are issues in terms of partnerships, in terms of relationships, in terms of individuals who are overreacting to what you're doing, and there will be impulses, there will be heights of emotions that you'll see coming in front of you, people around you overreacting to things, people around you overreacting to impulses. Being careful in that situation to not mirror that back, because when Mercury goes retrograde in a water sign like yours, it is a test of emotional strength. It is a test of how do we react to certain situation when we are excited emotionally, when we think that we are getting through somewhere but hindrances come through. How do we react to that situation? And it shows us a very different side of us. It shows us a very different side of us that is going to help you grow going forward in your network, to create your own wealth, to create your own business, to create your own legacy. So this is sort of a retrograde is always a maturation cycle. It is always a cycle of showing a different side of you, and then it takes you to the next level of growth that you did not think was possible. So stick with the punches which will come. I'm sorry to say, but in your season I would want to say that everything will be beautiful, and Pisces season is a beautiful season. But remember that this Mercury retrograde, which is happening on 5th of March at the start of the month, has a purpose. And we are in the middle of that right now, because Mercury retrograde, when it's happening, the way it's happening this month, it starts earlier, because Mercury becomes an evening star about a week or 10 days before Mercury goes retrograde in the current cycle. So you can already feel that, and I spoke about it in the course of last month as well, that from 19th of February you'll see the impulses coming through. You'll see that our emotional strength is tested to some extent, because there will be things and people working for us, people working with us. They would be not responding the way we think they should respond to what you're offering. So those challenges will become a part of your learning, will become a part of how to shift direction going forward in your new start. They will give you a new perspective if you let it come to you, instead of trying to push through, and try to keep this thought process, because once we know better, we do better, right? So we know here that these things are coming through to us, so we can see the deeper meaning of it. We can figure out what is it trying to teach us to move forward more successfully. So that is the gist of it. We have a beautiful full moon at the end of the month, which is sort of a culmination of last 6 months of effort that you've been putting in to create wealth, to create better economy for yourself, to create more value for you economically, and it will give you more depth in your relationships as well. If you've been working on a partnership with somebody, it will give you a feeling of increased depth and harmony in your partnership as well. So the ending of this month is beautiful. It starts a process, but be ready, and I have to be honest with you, there will be some letting go. A permanent ending of something is required for you to fully go forward in your full strength, and that is part of the equation. In order to gain a lot, you'll have to let go something small, and a whole new world will be open to you. So let's get into the details of things and look at the beautiful new start we have ahead of ourselves. As usual, I'll leave timestamps in the comments for you to come back to during the course of the month. So as we start the month, the sun is shining in your sign, and it is the time to be focused on you, your goals, your personality, your ambition, and your leadership style. The spotlight is very much on you and your self-expression. It's the time to put the past behind and move forward boldly. It's a mutable month. It is a month of transitioning into a new phase of life, which will start with the start of spring or start of autumn, in depending on whether you are in the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere, which happens around 20th or 21st of March. You will be changing in the process of this whole month, especially in the first 2 or 3 weeks of the month. You will be changing your approach. You'll be changing your approach towards this new phase of your life that is coming through. Sun in your sign is not about outshining anyone or following any other kind of leadership. It is about being true to yourselves. It's about succeeding by molding yourself to the flow of situation. What is your strength, Pisces, in my view, and this is something that most of the signs fail at, is your ability to read the room, your ability to read the writing on the wall, which others miss because they don't use their sixth sense, because they don't use their intuition, because they don't use their right brain. They get lost in the information, they get lost in the data, they get lost in the logic of the thing without seeing things beyond logic that you are able to see. The astute intuition that you have, most of the signs do not have the benefit of having that, and that is your strength this month, and that is heightened with Neptune in your sign and with Mercury in Pisces as well. You are given the gift of seeing things beyond what you would even normally see during the course of March, during the course of first 2 or 3 weeks of the month especially. And that gives you a deeper insight into the flow of the situation. It gives you an insight into what is the guide to your path, what is the success to your path, what is the way to go forward to be successful in your career, in your relationships, in your partnerships with the people who are helping you move forward, because it's a month of big changes for you, and your ability to flow is an asset this month. So any other sign, I would say, yeah, seize the opportunity. Sun is in your sign, mold your path, do this. But when sun is in your sign, it is different. It's not about sheer strength. It's about inspiration. It's about being inspired from within. It's about knowing from within where you want to go. It's about creating your own path by reading the room, by reading the environment, figuring out how the things are changing right now and instantly changing. You are a mutable water sign. You can shift faster than anybody else when you see that things are going in a direction which is not right. And Mercury retrograde this month, which happens around 5th of March, it gives you in the first week of the month itself an indication of what is not going right, which is the direction in which you should not be going and which is the direction in which you should go. And it gives you a different insight into how to shift your direction. And because you are a mutable water sign, you shift much faster than anybody else, and you read the room and you don't get stuck in the situation, and you're able to succeed because of that. That is my read of how the month starts. And the thing is that there will be very clear clues coming if you listen to yourself during this period. In fact, they might be coming through to you right now if you listen to yourself. The thing is that the noise of the things, the speed, the communication speed, and the things, they're moving really fast right now, because you have Mars in your 3rd house. From the middle of February, things started moving really, really fast. They started moving at a very accelerated speed. And you have been working on things since December when Mars entered your sign. It's not about working on things. It's about just that things are moving too fast right now. So when things are moving too fast, Mercury puts a pause button in our thought process and says, just give yourself a minute. Just give yourself a minute. Even give yourself 10 minutes a day to stay still and figure out whether I'm going with the right methodology. Am I dealing with my co-workers, with the people who are working for me or with me, or my clients? Is the quality is the way I'm handling them, or my business is handling them, or my in terms of my delivery to them, is that what is being expected on the other side? Is that jiving well with them? Because you will see through the demand of the other side and the requirement of the other side, the requirement of the people who are receiving your goods, who are receiving your service, who are receiving your words, who are receiving your creativity, much, much further than anybody else right now. And Mercury, the planet that rules our communication, it rules your partnerships with other people. It rules your relationship with your co-workers as well as with your clients. So there is something, in my view, that is coming to light that requires you to take a step back and see and shift your approach. There is a clear shift that happens, in my view, in the way of thinking about the situation at the start of the month, which requires you to release the pressure on focusing on the noise, focusing on the speed of things, focusing on how fast things are changing and how quickly things are coming your way. It is a time to be able to go one step deeper and figure out how to handle this in a more efficient way, and how to embellish your new starts. At the start of the month, we have a very productive yet not so easy aspect, and I don't mean that to discourage you in any ways. It is an aspect that most of the astrologers don't talk about, which is sesqui square. That is happening at the start of the month when Sun is making a sesqui square with the North Node. What happens here is that we do not know how to reach future with this aspect. This is an aspect which does not let us see how to reach, how to access the success that we can see in front of us. The pathway to it is not clear. And that is where we don't have the knowledge. We don't have a knowledge of the path. And that's when it is required for us to stop the activity for a minute. And you'll feel that, in my view, at the start of the month, that we need to figure out what we want out of the situation. You would very well know what you don't want, because Mars and Uranus last month would have very amply told you what you don't want out of the situation. But working on the path right now in front of you, it requires you to stay present in the now. It requires you to stay present in the now and not get lost in the messaging, because Mars in third house is excellent for communicating with your environment. It is excellent to make a headway. It is excellent to get a lot of work through, and we are dedicatedly working through things. But staying present in the now gives you clues about whether you're going in the right direction or not. And with that comes a moment in the first week of the month when Uranus starts standing still. When Uranus starts standing still, which it has started already, because it's a slow moving planet, it takes 84 years to get through a sign. It is about to move into your third house as well, of thought process, of communication. It stops still at the start of the month in your house of communication, about to enter into Taurus on 5th or 6th of March, and it stands still and gives you an insight, in my view, about how to approach this. And there is an old approach that comes to an end, an archetype, a permanent ending of a certain way of handling a situation, of a certain way of being, comes to an end, in my view, because you see through that approach is not working. And with that starts the process of handling the old and starting something new. Because once Uranus enters Taurus on 6th of March, there is a unconventional way of thinking, an unconventional way of handling your environment, a new direction in terms of how to think about your future. It starts emerging, because Uranus and Taurus goes into the fixities in our thought processes, and it changes and adds innovation in that. It sort of goes into our mind. It brings about a shift in our mind in terms of a new way of thinking, of communicating with our environment, of sort of marketing ourselves in a different way, of speaking in a different way to people, in terms of very actively. It breaks out of an old shell and makes you take a little bit of risk on yourself to express yourself differently. It inspires you, it gives you confidence to talk in a different way, to speak in a different way, to think in a different way. So new ideation phase is starting, and this is a very long cycle. Uranus is in a sign for 7 years at least, so it will be in Taurus for 7 years. But when it enters a sign, that moment, that month, there is a seed that is planted. And this is happening at the start of your season, at the start of your new moon. Uranus is moving into Taurus just a few hours after your new moon happens on 5th or 6th of March. So the new start has the seed of the shift in mind, a very active breaking out of the shell and taking a step which is sort of a risk on yourself, which is a risk on your courage. There is a new sort of self-expression that comes through, a change of scene of your immediate environment that comes through. And this could be in form of an actual change of office, an actual change of immediate environment, that you are away from your comfort zone. This could be in form of maybe changing the neighborhood that you're part of, maybe your work neighborhood changes, or the people in your immediate environment who you interact with, they change. Or this could be psychological in terms of a light bulb moment that happens, because Uranus in third house is the Albert Einstein aspect. He had it natally. He has Uranus in the third house, which you're going to have for the next 7 years. He had that in his natal birth chart. This gives a very sharp intellect. It gives a very sharp intuition. It gives us a change and fixity of our ideas in our perception to create certain genius ideas. There's a sort of a deluge of new thought process that comes through, and it makes you very, very curious for knowledge. It makes you very curious for something new. It wants you to quench your curiosity by learning something new and avoid going towards the old. It wants to it's almost like the mind shifts when Uranus moves into our third house, which is the house of our mind. It is like our mind shifts. And we have a new mind. We have a new way of thinking. We have a new approach to handle our immediate environment, and the way we communicate to them will change significantly over the course of March as a result of both Uranus moving into your communication house as well as Mercury retrograde in your sign, which is happening after 6 years. So this is sort of the gist of what's happening even right at the moment of your new moon. Your new moon is happening on 6th of March. On 6th of March, we have the new moon in your sign, which is happening at 15 to 16 degree of Pisces. So if you have any planets, ascendant, sun or moon, between 12 to 19 degree of Pisces, you'll feel this new start for a much longer time. But for all of you, with the new infusion of energy, there's a fresh new start, a new slate that is given to us. And this is a new start that comes with the highest inspiration, because it's coming in conjunction with Neptune, your ruler. So there is an inspiration to start something completely new, a do-over of sorts. It's sort of like we are erasing the old chapter, we are erasing the old life and moving forward. Because Neptune in your sign for the last couple of years, it has been sort of working on changing your self-image. The person that who you are is completely changing as a part of this new start. And this new moon on 6th of March, it marks the start of that phase, the official start of that phase of this new chapter in your life, this new phase in your life. It is sort of going beyond your consciousness, going beyond what you see in front of you, but at a spiritual level, at an intuition level, at a subconscious level, you're having a rebirth as a part of this new moon. And you'll feel that very, very strongly, because there's so many other aspects that are pointing exactly to that. You have a mental rebirth as well as a physical rebirth during the course of March of 2019, which begins from 6th of March. Now Neptune is sort of sitting at 16 degree, which is the height of creativity. So if you are in any spiritual or a creative field, This is a very, very fertile time. This is a very sensitive point in creativity. We can create something that we have never been able to create before in terms of poetry, in terms of music. And even if you're not in a field, an official field of creativity, I will request you to look at your existing situation, your existing work of art. And we are all creating art in one way or the other in our work. I will ask you to look at that from another perspective during this time. We will not get an opportunity like this again. 16 degree of Pisces is so creative. Most of the poets, most of the stars who have any philosophical depth in them, they have this in their chart very significantly highlighted. In symbolic astrology, it is shown as in the quiet of his study, a creative individual expresses a flow of inspiration. It is an inner source of inspiration that comes to surface. This is something much way beyond us, our consciousness. This is a gift of God, a gift of faith sort of that comes up in form of an inspiration to us if we tune in. The creative juices that will flow as a part of this new moon during the first couple of days of this new moon, they will make space for something new. They will make space for something that we have not thought of before, a new idea that will resolve the old, which will nurture the future, which will sort of be an emotional cord with the past, but an emotional cord with the future. It is a very forward-looking new moon. But at this point in time, this is about you. It's not about somebody else giving you an idea. And we need to be a little bit careful when Neptune is involved, that we are listening to our inner wisdom and not a wisdom of somebody else. Because Neptune has two sides to it. It is the highest form of inspiration, but it's a trickster as well, because it reduces our boundaries so we can let fresh ideas in. But we want those fresh ideas to be of our benefit and not of somebody else, because this reduction in boundary leads people in who are not good to us as well. It's not a discretionary planet. So if there are people or places which deplete you on 6th, 7th and 8th of March especially, you need to get away from them. You need to take a time out from the usual places, the usual people, the immediate environment that you normally hold and stay in. You need to sort of cut yourself off from that, because you need to adjust away from your normal environment. You don't need other people to leech your energy. You need to give yourself energy at this time. So you are overly sensitive. You will feel very sensitive. This is a very, very sensitive point in the whole 30 degrees of Pisces. If there is a deeper, there cannot be a more sensitive point in the zodiac. So being a little bit careful about your own energy, being careful about your sensitivity and your susceptibility at this time. Don't get pulled into somebody else's plans right now. This is about you talking to you, you understanding your inspiration, you getting inspiration by listening to yourself. It is not about listening to somebody else. So the spiritual awareness that you get right now, it comes from within. In the quiet of a study, a creative individual experiences a flow of inspiration. He's sitting in a quiet. He's not with somebody else. He's listening to himself. He's listening to his own inner source. He's getting inspired by his own thought process, and then he's giving form to it in writing, in terms of playing an instrument, in terms of emoting what is coming to him. So I would request you to sort of take this time, if you can, away from your immediate environment between 5th to 8th or 9th of March. And I know we all work and we have practical obligations to others, but you will feel very sensitive around 6th or 7th of March. I would ask you, I would urge you to be careful on these dates, to stay away. Be careful of how your energy is getting used. If you feel that there are people and places depleting you, retreat from that. It will show you that there's something that needs adjusting. If you're feeling depleted because of somebody in your presence, you know that that relationship needs adjusting. So it will give you an insight into that person is probably not for you at this point in time in your life. It will give you a view into that, maybe a place as well. This is a time when you are able to sense something that you did not sense before. But withdraw yourself, tune in to yourself, tune in and do something which is beautiful to you. and put something to form. Put anything to form, whether you play an instrument or you write an idea, keep a dream journal. You need time for concentration and inner quiet right now. It will give you faith in your strength. It will give you faith in your own thought process. And that's what water energy is about, having faith in your intuition, right? We are a water sign. I'm a water sign myself. When I feel that my energy is dropping, I know there is something in my environment that is sucking it away. So being careful of that at this point in time. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take so much time on that, but this is important from a health perspective, because something in your health environment which is taking your energy away. This could be some negative energy in your work environment that is sort of sucking up your energy, sucking up your minerals to some extent, especially if you are 16-degree Pisces, which is if you're born around 5th, 6th of March. Being a little bit careful about your immunity at this point in time, I would highly suggest that, because Neptune is directly on you right now at 16 degrees. So if you're born on 6th or 7th of March, you're a Pisces sun, born around 6th or 7th of March, even from 3rd to 9th of March, I would request you to take something to boost up your immunity right now, boost up your physical stamina at this point in time, being careful in terms of Neptune taking away the minerals in your body. But the biggest upside of this new moon, and it's a beautiful new moon with Neptune there, is that it reduces our boundaries in terms of our limitation that we put on ourselves. It sort of lets you dream who you can be if you did not impose certain boundaries on yourself, because the boundaries, the mental boundaries, the limitations that we put on our own inspiration, they are removed as a part of this, so we can dream higher at this point in time to put a seed of something beyond what we are right now. So from 3rd to 9th of March, I would request you to sort of indulge yourself in ideation, indulge yourself in absorbing this new set of information that is coming through to you in terms of what more you can be if you did not sort of put the limitations on yourself. And we all do. We all have the limitations. We all put too much of logic and use our left brain way too much to put limitations on who we can become. And this is a stage when that wall is being brought down so we can see beyond our current situation and even become unrealistic to some extent, because it is required sometimes to be unrealistic, to dream beyond where we are right now and think of where we could be. And this inspiration will take more form as we move forward, because around 9th of March, and we'll feel that from a day or two after the new moon itself, Sun and Saturn, they meet each other. So there is some moderation, some amount of restructure. How do we put this to ground? How do we bring some structure around this inspiration that we've been feeling so strongly? That will come through around 9th and 10th of March, when you have Sun and Saturn working together, and then we have Mars and Neptune working together. So we have a softening of our action, a softening. You'll feel the softening come through after this new moon. This whole rough edges that might be coming through in the last couple of days, you'll feel a softening in your interaction come through with your co-workers. If you've been feeling that your immediate environment has been a little bit hostile, with Mars and Neptune meeting each other around 10th of March, you'll feel a softening of the sharp edges that you've been feeling in your environment, and it makes the communication easier. It makes the conflicts easier. It makes gentle conclusion even of certain conflicts that have been coming across. It's a very beautiful energy to have Mars and Neptune meet together, especially with Neptune in your own sign. If you're born around 6th or 7th of March, who are also the ones who are most benefited by the new moon, you'll feel the ease to resolve something old, an old conflict getting resolved around 10th of March in my view. And this is the phase from where we start moving forward, because after 10th of March, we start getting the power to move to the new. And you'll feel that because we start moving to the next phase of Mercury retrograde, which is about new. It's done with the old, resolving the old, and tap into your power to move into the new. And you feel this power very, very strongly between 11th to 15th of March, when both Sun and Mercury will meet Pluto, and you'll get the strength in your ambition, the determination, the power in yourself to sort of remove the old and move with the new. And you can go to the next phase with that. But remember, Mercury is retrograde this month. So we're talking about this whole thing about starting something new, but we do not commit to something right now. I would highly, highly recommend that we be careful of that fact, because Mercury in the second phase, especially after 14th of March, because we start gaining this confidence in the new. We start getting this epiphany that this is how I can go in the next phase. Because on 14th of March, you have Sun and Mercury meeting together. This is when a new idea takes form. You sort of realize, you get an epiphany within your soul, within your subconscious, on how to move forward. This is a voila moment that happens, in my view, around 13th or 14th of March. And then it is very difficult to hold yourself back. You want to run with it. You want to again speed up. And this is the phase of Mercury retrograde for which it is notoriously known for. This is the phase in which we tend to make mistakes, because we think we are ready for the new, but there are things that need to be dealt with. There are things whose groundwork needs to be further done before we start something new. So I would highly recommend to hold on till April to start something officially new. You can start laying down the ground for it, do the research work, network. This is the month to interact with people, form the right associations, form the right social group, make a significant stride in your ambition by doing the groundwork from 14th of March all the way till 28th of March. So this whole Sun and Pluto combination, which is, in my view, it is such a great energy to have, because you have access to certain power that most of the other signs do not have easy access to, because Pluto and Saturn in Capricorn, they are such strong powerhouses, and you have a positive access to that during this time, especially on 13th of March. So if there's a powerful move, tapping into your inner resources required for you to move to the next step. If you did not have a belief in your future, 13th of March it taps into a different side of you, and it infuses a new sense of belief in your future. And that's also the time when you can go very, very deeply into something, research, gain information, sort of tidy something together, and get a new idea. Going in terms of research, in terms of forward-looking research. 13th of March is when Sun is meeting Pluto. We have Mercury also meeting Pluto on 16th of March. So we have both our mind as well as our physical ambition sort of powered up by Pluto, which is great. It's excellent. And it's not just Pluto which is coming into picture. We also have Jupiter. So there's optimism, there's positivity, there's even a little bit going over the top. And I'll warn you that I've warned you before as well. I hate to be a broken record, but Jupiter squaring Mercury and Sun on 13th of March as well as on 15th of March, it is like we are excited into action. We feel so confident in our future right now to go for it, that you might take a plunge about something that you do not have full information on. So being very, very careful at this point in time, especially if you have planets between 18 to 24 degree of Pisces, which means if you're a Pisces sun born between 9th to 15th of March, I will request you to be very careful. Use this time to do the research, to lay down the groundwork, meet influential people, make a stride into a social contact that you've not been able to do that before. So making an appointment on 13th of March or 15th of March to meet somebody who's different from you, who can give you a perspective that you did not have before, who's part of your network, and he can help you, he can promote you. It could be a client, it could be a sponsor, it could be a socially influential person. I would suggest you to do that. This is also the time when Pluto has to get rid of something old, because I've been talking about it in the last couple of videos. In 2019, we will be having the first contact of Saturn, Pluto, and South Node. They will be very, very close to each other during the course of April. Pluto and South Node actually will be meeting at the initial part of April itself, on 4th of April. But we'll start feeling this Pluto-South Node conjunction from the middle of March itself, and this is a very important aspect. This is you getting detached from an old source of strength. There's something old. It could be a friend who was your strength in the past. It could be a business associate who was your strength in the past. It could be an old image of who you thought you wanted to become. And this is not a short-term goal. This is a vision of your future, which has to be let go, which you know it has become your weakness. It has become something that you need to let go. And it's not a brutal taking away or anything. This is something that has outlived its purpose and needs to be released for you to move forward. It is sort of a thing you know that you're relying on, which you should not be relying on anymore, because you've become independent. Because Pluto wants you to become independent. It wants you to become strong in your future. In order to do that, it wants you to give up something old. So the conviction and your vision will come if you remove the weak link, if you detach from a source of weakness to some extent and make new powerful connections, make new associations which are more in line with your future. And this is just the evolution of life. It has got nothing to do with losing anything. It's about moving forward. Moving forward with the new proposition of your life. Do not get into new financial or legal affairs right now. Do not overpromise. Just be careful from 11th to 15th of March, when Jupiter is also making aspect with all of these planets. Being a little bit careful that we are bedding the old life to end and starting a new one here. This is where the seeding happens. The seed of your new life gets planted on 14th of March, when Earth and Mercury are together. From Sun's perspective, these two planets, they're together, they're talking to each other. Your ambition and your mind comes together, makes up its mind with the strength of Pluto that I'm going to do something that I've not done before, and I'm going to go for it. There's a clarity of purpose that comes here. Some important piece of puzzle fits together for you to move forward. Some important thing that was missing. It could be a person, it could be an information, it could be an influential person who gives you a go-ahead to go forward with something. And that is where you start going forward, and we start working forward. We research forward, we work forward, we start laying the groundwork of this new from 17th to 22nd of March, because we have beautiful energy during this time with Mars meeting with Pluto. This is such an excellent aspect to have to get things through, getting the confidence to get things rolling, and getting ready for the next step, transforming a previous situation which looked very, very difficult. You'll get so much done in terms of your work between this period of time, between 17th to 22nd of March. Right now, you would not believe that. And this is the combination of beautiful combinations, positive. I mean, there is no challenge in this period to forward movement, because you are steadily working towards the vision that has been shown to you. But again, this is you laying the groundwork. You're trying to create the groundwork for launching something in April. The launch and the actual new start, official announcement of it, is all, in my view, should be in April. And that brings us to the new vernal equinox, which is happening on 20th of March. That is the start of spring in northern hemisphere and autumn in southern hemisphere. It's the start of a new season. Your season ends, but a new beneficial season begins. The season of Aries, which begins on 20th of March, is, from an astrological perspective, that is the new year for us. It's the new start. This is when this season changes, and the transmutation has stopped. The mutation has stopped, and a new beginning will start showing its initial shoots to you. You'll see that things are looking positive. You'll feel this energy, then Sun in Aries is very, very happy. It's fruitful. It wants to move forward with things. It wants to initiate the new. So you'll feel that energy within yourself that I'm ready for the next phase. And you'll feel it within yourself. And this is a profitable period. It is a period when you'll be focusing on making money, on making finances, on adding confidence, adding talents to yourself. You're adding more resources to your life over the course of next 1 month. And within a few hours of Sun moving into Aries on 20th of March, we have the full moon in Libra. A full moon in Libra, I think after your sign probably and Cancer, I think Libra moon is the one that I like the most, because it gives us such a loving and soothing energy. And this is happening in your partnership and joint finances sector, because it's saddling 2 houses. It's sitting at 0 degree. So it influences your partnerships deeply in a positive manner. If there were any issues that were happening in your partnerships, whether it is business associates or actual committed partner, this full moon brings something to closure in that. And it's a beautiful full moon because it's happening with Venus meeting Jupiter, which is a very lucky, positive and optimistic aspect, which is happening on 21st of March. And these two coming together makes a pleasant environment to start something new. It makes a pleasant environment to mend fences with any business associates, with any partners, with respect to any financial issues with financial institutions or with your partners. So if there were commissions which were missing or not getting credited well, or there were loan discussions which were not going well earlier and the loan documents were not coming through, or there was some payment difference between you and your business associates, that gets resolved as a part of this full moon over the course of next 2 weeks in a beautiful and diplomatic manner. Because full moon in Libra, with its ruler so positively aspected, it gives a pleasant end to a previously difficult situation. At 1 degree Libra, it's sort of represented as a beautiful butterfly, a perfect butterfly. But the thing is, as I mentioned earlier, this beauty will come at a cost. It's coming at a cost. It's coming at a cost of you letting go of something. So in symbolic astrology, it is shown as a perfect butterfly impaled by a dart, a fine dart. It's not to hurt it, but it's to keep it in place. To sort of, there's something old, an old way of being, or maybe an old association, an old partnership maybe, or an old vision that has to be let go for this beauty to emerge, for this new phase of your life to emerge. And it's coming with Mars and Venus working together, so there's a lot of passion inbuilt in it. This is a very creative full moon. It's coming with a lot of excitement, a lot of love, a lot of I can almost call this full moon a sexy full moon with Venus and Mars together. It's a very, very sexually charged full moon to some extent, with Venus and Mars together. That to Mars and Taurus, which is associated with beauty and sex. I mean, with Venus and Mars together, it's beautiful time to be charged up, to close on a partnership or personal partnership if you're looking for one, or to resolve and close on a association with a business partner, closing on a client. If you're working in, especially if you're working in a creative field, if you're working in a field where you make things beautiful, this is a time to sort of close a contract with somebody, and you'll be very, very passionately activated to close it. It's not a time to negotiate something, as I mentioned earlier, but if there's an old contract that has been in making, it might come to a closure, it might come to a conclusion over the course of next 2 weeks, starting from 20th of March. And one thing to note is something which is part of this full moon is that Sun will be meeting Chiron. The exact meeting is on 22nd of March. Chiron is right now in your house of self-worth. There is a healing in your self-worth that comes as a result of this new phase in your life. But at the point of this full moon, the gap of where you are not where you do not have faith in your identity, it might come to light, because when Sun and Chiron meets, our wound is exposed, our wound of our identity is exposed, and it is required sometimes, because pain keeps us real here. Pain keeps us real about where you want to go. It does not let us be complacent in the present, because there's a lot of idealistic beauty in this full moon. Libra is about idealistic beauty. We want to go deeper than surface here. And to go deeper into surface, Chiron brings out what you truly want to become. It wants to show you that there is much further you can go. And there is much further for you to go in terms of your identity, in terms of healing a wound of the past, of your self-identity, of your self-worth that has been inflicted in the past. To heal that, there is still way to go, and you move forward. This is a hurt that sort of it sort of helps us in our ambition. It keeps us going. It keeps us asking for more at this point in time. And if there is anyone who should ask for more in this season, it is your sign. And with Sun in Aries, it is the time to ask for more, to go for new things. And after 28th of March, when Mercury moves direct, it's the time to put these initiatives into action. It is the time to start new. But at this point in time, with Mercury and Neptune together, again, as I said, do not get pulled into signing something, especially on 24th of March when Mercury and Neptune are together. You get a deep insight into new start. It's very inspiring. It's a very positive energy. From a psychological perspective, you'll feel such a healing come through as a part of this full moon. But on 24th of March, if you're presented with a new proposition to sign, hold on for some time, hold on for a week to go deeper into it, to go into the next step into it. But it's a very positive, very beneficial, especially from a career perspective, with Jupiter in your house of career meeting Venus. This is a very lucky time, a very positive messaging coming through in terms of your career, and you'll see the faith coming back. You'll see the positivity coming back in terms of moving forward to the next phase that's coming through. And even more beautiful is that on 26th of March, Venus moves into your sign, and it will stay there till 20th of April. And this is all about increasing the beauty of your life, increasing the beauty of your connection with other people. It is the time to make changes if you want to make in terms of your physical body after 28th of March, making changes in that, because when Venus is in our sign, the results are most positive as compared to before. So going in for any changes, beauty changes if you're interested in, or just overall convincing people with a different set of ideas, going into April with such a positive energy behind you, so much excitement, new ideas. You're ready for it at the end of the month. Then Mars moves into Gemini, so you know that next month is going to be busy, buzzing with ideas, buzzing with new projects, buzzing with new starts, which is how April is normally. But you're going into it with a brand new start, and I'm really happy for you with the way especially the energy pans up after 14th of March. It's beautiful. If you stick with things till 14th of March and know that the end of a beautiful new start is in sight, if you keep an eye to the end, I would think this is a very, very beautiful and productive month for you. So good luck for that, and I hope this helps, and I'll leave the timestamps as usual so you can access different parts of this reading. I'll see you next month. Thank you.